Greetings, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining me as I share everything that you need to know about the upcoming new moon solar eclipse and how to best work with the energies to manifest your best life, especially regarding relationship themes. Welcome back, everyone. This is Carrie Konyha at holisticspsychic.com and Soul Star Healing Arts Center in Sedona, Arizona, coming on to share some insights around the new moon solar eclipse happening in the sign of Libra on October 2nd, 2024, happening at 11:49 a.m. Pacific time in the United States. So, of course, make your adjustment for your location on the planet. This eclipse is bringing in collectively challenges for all of us regarding harmony and balance within relationship themes. So, as we're getting into the details of these energies, I invite you to just take a moment to consider or notice how these themes have been appearing to you in your life over the past few weeks, especially since we just had that lunar eclipse. So, from about 2 weeks ago till now, where has there been a revealing around where you're ready to have a deep healing, clearing, balancing, and reharmonization regarding relationship themes? There are components of these energies that are connected to like deeply rooted karmic themes. So we're not talking about superficial, casual, fleeting relationships here. We're talking about those deeper themes that have been prominent in your life and having awarenesses illuminated in your being right now that help you and guide you in understanding what you're ready to be done with and what you're ready to embrace more of. However, I do want to say that these relationship themes don't necessarily have to be connected to relationships with people. It for sure can be, and most likely will be in some capacity, because we do have these karmic soul contract connection aspects that are shining in with these energies. But it can also be relationships to your home, your health, work. The best way to get an insight as to how these energies are distinctly showing up for you individually would be to look at your astrological birth chart and see where the Libra sector of your chart is, and that will give you some insight as to how these energies are showing up and how to best work with them. The energies now are very connected to like deep karmic clearing and even shadow work themes. The shadow work themes that are coming up are deeply rooted in self love. And it's all about embracing and reconnecting with aspects of ourselves that we have repressed and aspects of our deep true desires that we've repressed, aspects of our own inner feminine energies that we have repressed. And this is connected to the fact that Venus is ultimately the ruling energy over this new moon eclipse because Venus is the ruler of Libra. Venus right now is in Scorpio. Scorpio is the archetype of the alchemist. It's the energy of transformation and evolution, while Venus is very much connected to themes of harmony, beauty, balance, creativity, and the sacred feminine. So these are the prevalent energies that are rising up deep within the collective unconscious to our illuminated awareness. Then we're all participating and experiencing these energies in our own individual, unique ways. But do know that this is a deep time of healing old karmic patterns. And let's please remember that as we individually do our own part to heal, we are in effect, individually contributing to the collective healing. We do have some deeply nurturing energies that are holding space in the way of emotional healing. Astrologically, that's connected to the fact that we have a grand water trine going on. This trine is happening between Mars in Cancer, Venus in Scorpio, and Saturn in Pisces. This energy is super supportive, not only of emotional healing, but also supporting us in being able to have a more deeply tapped in sense of intuition that comes through the empathic or sensing feeling channels as well. Speaking of water, I do want to mention this interesting little thing that shaped up over the past week here. When I did the full moon lunar eclipse video, we had an astrological kite formation that was focalized on Neptune and Pisces. And I mentioned that because of that, we could have some water type phenomena happening, including tropical storms. And indeed, over this past week, we've had that hurricane tropical storm develop over Florida and moving through the southeast portions of our country, wreaking some havoc. So I'm just mentioning that as an interesting acknowledgement of how the astrological energies show up in our lives, not just on psycho-spiritual natures, but in actual material realm as well. If you didn't see that video and you want to check it out, I'll post it up here. And the section that I talked about that was between around 27 and 28 minutes into the video, just FYI. So speaking of Mars in Cancer, Mars astrologically is squaring roughly, but it is squaring the nodes of the moon. This has a lot to do with the karma and destiny axis that the solar eclipse is activating. Because, for one, Mars in Cancer can drive us in the direction of ancestral healing, healing things that are connected to the roots of our lineage, in addition to things like home and private life. But the square with the nodes, the south node is in Libra. So this is a south node solar eclipse that we're having, which on one level, the south node has to do with our natural talent, skills, and abilities that we were born into the world with to contribute to humanity. These are gifts that we've cultivated throughout eternity before arriving here on planet Earth in this lifetime. But the south node also can represent karma. So karmic relationship themes, again, very pinpointed on the astrological level regarding this eclipse. And then the north node, which Mars is also squaring, is connected to our destiny, meaning our true soul calling, the path that we were excited to sign up for as we incarnated on this earth. So the healing and clearing of those old karmic patterns and perhaps soul agreements that we have had with people in our lives ultimately is liberating our energy so that we can more clearly move forward in a way that is even more aligned to what our true soul calling is at this point in our life. And in fact, I'm even going to put it out there that many of us might be experiencing crisis along those lines, where maybe something that's been a passion for ours for 20 years or a lifetime isn't so much a passion anymore, but other things are taking precedence. Other new dimensions of our interests are coming into the picture. And so that sometimes can create a sense of a personal identity crisis where something that we've done our whole life we feel complete with, and we're ready to embrace something new, but we're just very much on those new first few steps and we're not really grounded in it yet. And so there can be a tendency to want to just play it safe and keep doing the thing that we're accustomed to doing, even though it's not so much our passion anymore. So I would just be aware of that and guard against that. This is a time of, being willing to make the changes, make the decisions, and take risks to expand beyond your comfort zone in order to have that renewed thriving of living a life filled with meaning and purpose that really is very much connected to the energies of this eclipse. Let's remember that eclipses are always about endings and beginnings in some way, shape, or form. And, here we are at that juncture again right now. And this is a really almost critical time for you to make choices that are aligned with having confidence and certainty around what your deep soul callings are and trusting that those things are always connected to what feeds meaning and purpose and what our life path is all about. I haven't mentioned yet that the planet Mercury is also in Libra. So we have the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Black Moon Lilith all in Libra. The Mercury component brings opportunity for clarity of awareness and conscious communication. This is a time where we can have deep healing in relationships with conscious conversation, having communion within yourself, listening to what your own deep awareness is telling you about these things. So, communication with ourself, like self reflection through meditation, and having heart to heart conversations with other people can be deeply healing, empowering, and growth producing at this time. Now, this is all happening as its own cycle of deeply transformative energies that are leading us into another profound moment in time that is coming right around the corner, and that is connected to Pluto. Pluto right now is retrograding in the very last degree of Capricorn, which is a culminating energy. If you've been following my channel, you've heard me talk about the fact that Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008, with the exception of a little dip that Pluto did into Aquarius earlier this year, and now it's been retrograde. However, on October 11th, Pluto stations and begins forward movement again in the sign of Capricorn and will be transitioning into Aquarius in mid to late November, November 19th, and it's going to be staying in Aquarius until March 8th of 2043. So, as you can imagine, this is a really empowering, transformative time. Since Pluto's been retrograde, we've all collectively been having an unconscious introspection around how it is that we've been developing and experiencing evolutionary transformation in the Capricorn sector of our chart since 2008. We're wrapping all of that up right now, and we're taking how we've grown, how we've transformed, how we've evolved, and we're bringing it out to share with the world in the realm of the Aquarian sector of your chart. The power we have to make profound changes in our lives in the period ahead is more externalized and direct. We're more likely to take things into our own hands now and make the necessary changes that indeed do support what our life path looks like. And again, that's going to be based on what your true passions, desires, and soul calling is. The intensities of these energies, these cycles that we're experiencing now, is literally why I chose to have my shamanic healing and empowerment retreat at the end of October, because what we're doing in this retreat is experiencing, discovering, exploring many shamanic modalities for healing and empowerment, so that we can all move into this time, this very empowered time of actualization on our life path, which is really right around the corner. This retreat is going to give you the tools, the resources, and the energy, reclaiming power and energy that you need to fully step into your life path in a clear, empowered way. So if you haven't signed up yet, there is still time. I'm going to put the details in the description box below, and check it out. Reach out if you want to sign up for that retreat. It happens October 25th through 27th. It's a weekend retreat. If you're coming from out of town, you're definitely going to want to arrive a day early, because we start early in the morning that Friday. And then you might want to stay an extra day just to revel in the energies of Sedona, have a little bit of an integration period before going back home. So, as a special bonus for today, I had a request from my dear friend, Deborah in Ohio, who is also a psychic reader, a longtime dear friend of mine, requested that I bring back the tarot. And so I'm going to pull out a few cards here. I had not been doing the tarot cards as a part of my videos in the past month or so, because I felt like they were getting too long, but I would love your opinion. Do you love when I add insights from the tarot or not? What part do you most love? Do you love just my psychic insight, the astrology, the tarot, all of the above? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to be working with the Light Seers Tarot deck. This is still my favorite deck as of late. We're going to look at the cards for some sacred wisdom teachings and channeled insights. But these inquiries you can also work with yourself as like a journaling prompt. And what we're going to be looking into is, how can I invite more beauty and harmony into my life? So you might want to write that down for yourself for later. And how can I best flow with the transformation processes I'm being called to? Let's go with that one first. And this is going to be collectively. Again, if you want a personal reading, feel free to reach out. I do stay pretty booked up, so reaching out sooner than later is best. Okay, so first card, how can I best flow with the transformation processes I'm being guided to now and called to? The Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands is the energy of new momentum. The Eight of Wands is growth energy, and it is very rooted in things that are connected to our passions, our enthusiasms, our sense of meaning and purpose, our creative vision for ourselves in our lives. So the best way that we all collectively can best flow with the transformation processes we're being guided into is going to be in feeling into what you're most enthused about, feeling into what's really lighting a spark within you and embracing that energy. So even though this very much is a time where we can have karmic completion with soul agreements, old soul agreements that we're ready to have karmic completion with, the best way to harness the power of the transformation that's connected to that is embracing what you feel excited about focusing on in your life in moving forward, because that's what's going to bring us into that growth and expansion. And I want to reiterate here that those karmic endings doesn't necessarily have to mean the end of a relationship with a person you love. There might be instances where that happens, but it can also be the end of an old self-sabotaging idea or belief system that has hindered relationships that are important to you, so that you can have renewal in those relationships. There's so many ways that this can manifest. It's unique to each of us, but I would love for you to share in the comments below how that's shaping up for you, or anything you want to share along those lines, or anything you want to ask me about that. Okay, so the next question: how can I invite more beauty and harmony into my life? Let's see here. Whoa, the Tower card. Okay. How does the Tower card equate to how we can bring more beauty and harmony in our life? The Tower card in and of itself shakes the foundation of our reality. It shakes us loose of anywhere we've had patterns of stagnation, energetic densities, or things that are just not serving us anymore. That is the Tower card. It's very Uranian energy, where it can feel like things are coming in out of the blue, suddenly or unexpectedly. So there could be some of that component that shows up for us. But when we look at it in the way of how can I bring more beauty and harmony into my life, let go of the things that are cluttering you from that. This is bringing up a wisdom teaching where, when we think of beauty and harmony, those are higher vibrational frequencies. The quickest route to coming into higher vibrational frequencies in our life is to let go of the things that are dampening you. Let go of things that are heavy energies that are kind of burying the light within you. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like some type of struggled effort to get to a high vibration. It's simply letting go of what is not high vibration naturally brings us into our buoyancy, right? So when we're thinking of how do I bring in harmony and beauty, how do I invite harmony and beauty, how do I shift into harmony and beauty in my life? And I mean beauty as an energy. There's a shamanic teaching about walking in beauty, walking in harmony. And that's what's coming up. And what we do is we allow whatever wants to crumble away, we allow it. We don't question it. We don't call it back in. We don't stay stuck in the muck of it. Just letting it be, and we will naturally rise into that awareness. So in closing, let's remember that the new moon solar eclipse is ultimately a time of growth. So taking some time to set intentions around what your growth inspirations are. However, I do want to say this about eclipses. It's energetically not a good idea to do any type of ceremonial work or magical spell casting work during an actual eclipse. And that's because we have exposure to cosmic energies that we're not typically exposed to when it's not an eclipse. And when we do any type of personal ceremony or spell work during actual eclipses, the energy can go wonky and backfire. So what I'm going to recommend, I actually recommend this for each new moon, but I'm going to just reiterate it here. When we have the moments of the new moon, it's dark. The sky is dark. There's not light. So it's actually better to set your new moon intentions monthly when you can actually see the first sliver of the crescent new moon in the sky. So I'm going to recommend that for this lunation because we do have a solar eclipse. Wait until you can see the sliver of the crescent of the new moon in the sky before you really do some type of ceremonial work to establish or superpower the energy of your intentions. Lastly, if you love content that is connected to personal growth, spiritual awakening, empowerment, check out some of my other videos. I have all kinds of playlists here on my channel that are connected to various aspects of spiritual awakening, healing, empowerment. Check those out. I invite you to leave your comments below, and I appreciate your support in subscribing to my channel. All my love, guys. Blessings. Namaste. And I'll see you in the next video.